My motivation for running is actually divine. I started out in 2005. I ran for Birmingham City Council, forced the incumbent into a runoff, came back in 2009 and won. I'm very passionate about my district. I make no bones about it. I'm passionate about the city I live in, but rather than to be a part of the problem, I chose to be a part of the solution. So I'm very passionate about seeing our city be successful, and most of all, the residents in my district know that they have a voice in District 1. Well, you always got to put your feelings aside when it comes to how you relate to any mayor. One of the things that I've always said is that you never let your relationship or lack thereof get in the way of you doing your job. That's your job. You were elected to do a job. And being that, when you have adversarial or opposition, you're not going to agree on everything anyway. You learn the art of negotiation, and then you make that work for you. So I'm always extending the olive branch, regardless to whether it's reciprocated or not, because I understand at the end of the day, it is about the citizens winning. Well, our neighborhoods, the growth and economic development, and let me just say it the way it is, we don't have enough money that is fluctuating in all 99, 23 neighborhoods. It's not happening. We have crime in one area that we know if we had enough police on the ground, we could be able to get more crime solved. For example, with our school system, we recognize that even our school system, the city right now, according to the mayor, has proposed to only give the school system $2.3, I believe, million. That's not enough to finance poverty out of your community. We're lacking in several areas, but if I had to just be very direct, I would say sharing of the economics in our city, as well as making sure that every community has a good quality of life, not just a life. We want them to have a good quality of life. One of the ordinances that already came out of my committee that was vetoed by the mayor, but we're looking to put it back on the agenda so that we can have 6 votes, is talking about accountability in regards to how we process our budgets. Right now we're at a state that where the mayor gives the budget on May 1, we have less than 6 weeks in order to deliberate that process. I don't think that that's given us the kind of time that we need to really make sure that the citizens' needs are included as a priority. And then there's some other departmental needs that have been underfunded. And it wasn't because the council did not want to do it. It was because with the limited time and with the limited information that we had, we tried to make the best decision possible. So that's one of the things that I'd like to see get back on the agenda that came through my committee already. And most of all, changing of the Mayor-Council Act. Making sure that we put transparency back into city government. It shouldn't be where any mayor, any council can be able to write off a check and the public is not made aware. Tax dollars, and they don't belong to us, they belong to the citizens. Well, I determine the city's wants versus their needs by simply, is it something you can live without? It's very simple. We can want to have a theme park, but do you need to make sure that your police department is funded? Then the answer would be yes. All of the extracurriculars that we've been doing in the past and saying that, well, hey, this is our economic development boost, I look at the bottom line. So I still look at all of those things that have not increased our bottom line. There's simply a want, not a need. We need for our city departments and our city services to be at their best. And the only way we can do that is to make sure that we fund the various departments. I've lived in Birmingham all my life, which is 46 years. I've lived in District 1 22 years, been married 26 years. So I'll say in the limited time that I've been here on this earth, I can tell that the quality of life is totally different than when I grew up in the western section of Birmingham. I saw where our mayor at that time was Arrington. He lived on Mim Street. We lived on 19th Street. And so you had a local grocery store. You had local retail right there. And of course, it didn't stabilize the community. But what we also had was a quality education, quality job opportunities so that we can negate crime, negate possibly, most of all, having folks with jobs. I don't see that happening in our city now. I think we talk a lot, but our poverty rate is out of the wall. We recognize that everyone in our city are not prospering. And I'm not even talking about luxurious things. Basic needs, being able to pay your water bill. That's an issue that we have in our city. When you have to choose between retirement or a job, you own the job, but now you got to go to a payday loan industry in order to make ends meet. That's too common in Birmingham now. And we've got to do a better job of working on that, realizing that it is a problem, and work together to solve it. Well, my faith is always impacted. That's why I started off by saying it was divine for me to even be in politics. I never would have seen or saw myself in government because I saw a lot of negative. I didn't see things getting done. But I do believe and I know that God has called me to this office to be a voice for the voiceless and to have a compassionate ear, that when I go to make decisions, I'm not just making decisions based on how it affects Lashundra. I'm looking way down the road, and I recognize that God is going to hold me accountable. So every day that I go to work, I don't go with any of that personal stuff because I recognize He's looking at every single thing that I do. And if I honor Him, He said He'd make my way prosperous and He would add good success.